Greetings, students. Today, let's get into osmosis and just do a quick intro. So osmosis is the movement of water across a membrane. So the membrane part there is key. So osmosis could be something like here we have a beaker of water and we can see these little water molecules moving across this membrane, which is represented as a dashed line. So osmosis is really important in biology because it's regulating the amount of water that's in your body. And as we know, water is most of what makes up living things, right? It's over 70%. So where that water is and how it moves around is really important for homeostasis. In other words, for maintaining a nice steady state. Two examples of this would be in plants, osmosis is actually responsible for keeping plants upright. So if you've ever forgotten to water a houseplant and it started to droop and look sad, it's because water is moving out of the plant cells by osmosis, and so they're getting kind of sad and wrinkled up. But if you water the plant again, water will go back into the plant cells by osmosis, and they'll plump up, and they'll be a nice, happy plant. So that's one example. A second example for how osmosis is really important is water balance in your body. So your kidneys, everything your kidneys does is mostly regulate how much water is in your blood. And that's important because we need water to do all sorts of important things in our cells. And so we have a whole organ in our body that is dedicated just to making sure we have the right amount of water, and that organ works all by osmosis. Okay, so what direction does water move in osmosis? So in osmosis, water is going to move from low solute to high solute. So remember, solute is the stuff that is dissolved in the water. So for example, in this picture, we have a bunch of just pure water over here. It's just water molecules. So the solute concentration would actually be 0. And then here on the right, we have a bunch of solutes, these purple things. And you can see the water molecules are surrounding the solutes and dissolving them. So during osmosis, water is going to move to the right in this example. It's going to move towards the side with more solutes. And that is always true. So sort of a helpful way to think about what direction the water is going to move is you can think that water is attracted to solutes, or that water loves solutes and it's going to get stuck to those solutes and stay on that side. This is actually not really 100% biologically accurate, but it's such a common trick that you will see it in actually most textbooks. If you are wanting to nerd out about the truth of the physics behind osmosis, you should check out the link in this description. Okay, so let's do some practice here. So remember, water in osmosis always works to the side with the higher solute concentration. So in this example, which way will water move by osmosis? Yeah, okay, so we just have to figure out this side on the left. This has lower solutes, because see the little purple dots, there's fewer of them, compared to the side on the right, more dots. So this is low to high. Water always moves from low to high in osmosis, so it's going to move towards the right in this example. Okay, let's try another one. How about in this one? Which way is water going to move? Yeah, okay, so we're going to follow the same protocol. This one's low solute. It has fewer of the purple dots. The left side is high solute. It has more of the purple solutes. So which way is water going to move? In this example, it's going to move to the left, always towards the side with more solute, high solute concentration. Okay, one last one. How about in this example? So this example is set up more like a cell where we have a cross-section of a cell membrane, and then we have intracellular, meaning inside the cell, and extracellular, meaning outside the cell. So which way is the water going to move? Yeah, so we follow the exact same protocol. Outside the cell, there's fewer of these solutes. That's the low solute concentration. Inside the cell, there's more, and so water always moves from low to high solute. So in this case, water is going to move into the cell. Good, so we got it. Okay, so then really quickly, let's just introduce a new vocab term. This is tonicity. So tonicity is just a way to say solute concentration without having to keep saying that word over and over again. Instead, we could just use this new word, which just means tonicity. And that's going to be helpful because it's going to let us predict which way the water is going to flow by osmosis in a way that's a little less clunky than saying like low solute to high solute. We can just use this tonicity term. So there are two key vocab words we're going to need to learn. And to help memorize them, we are going to think about prefixes and suffixes because they always help us out, right? So the first prefix is hyper. Do you remember what the prefix hyper means? Yeah, so hyper means more. One way I like to remember this is like if you feed a little kid sugar or something and they're like, bleh, you'll say they're hyper, right? They're a lot, they're a ton. So hyper means a lot. Okay, on the flip side, what do you think hypo means? Yeah, so hypo just means the opposite. Hypo means less. So keeping that in mind, hyper is a lot, more. Hypo is low, it's less. So keeping that in mind, which side of this membrane in this example is hypertonic? Yeah, so remember hyper is a lot. So hyper is going to be a lot. So this side has more solute, so the left side is going to be hypertonic. And then in comparison, that means the right side here, because it has low solute, the right side is going to be hypotonic. And now we can see the water is still moving in the same direction, right? We've just changed the terminology to kind of save ourselves some words. So now we can see that the water is moving from the hypotonic to the hypertonic solution. Okay, so in summary, the direction that water moves in osmosis, we can say water moves from low solute to high solute concentration, like in this picture, low solute to high solute. Or in other words, water always moves from the hypotonic to the hypertonic solution. And there you go. There's a quick little intro to osmosis.